talked about that. Intellectual power is important with Saturn, and the original thinking, intuition, and investigative nature need to be developed, given practical application. You notice wherever we get into a house, we're saying this is something you need to develop. This is where you need to develop something, okay? And well-established, older, profound, scientific, serious, or influential acquaintances may assist you in your endeavors. Why? Saturn brings the older person into your experience, okay? Somebody that's got more years of wisdom than you do, okay? And that will often happen. And 11th house is friends, hopes, wishes, all that stuff, okay? So, you know, your hopes and wishes in Saturn in the 11th would come to you through what? Through hard work and persistence and friends.
Stephen Forrest, I believe it was, he talks about, you know, Saturn, the 11th is really all about goals, and the reason it's associated with friends and groups is that in order to achieve your goals, you need the help of others.
Beautiful.
In those groups.
That's so perfect, yeah. Absolutely true. You know, I've said to my wife many times, I said, you know, nothing happens to us in life except through other people. As much as you'd like to stay home and just be happy and content like here, we need to go outside our circles, because that's where good comes. God works through others, right? So if all those temples come into your experience, some of them have lessons and things to teach you. And Percy used to say to me, you know, that sometimes God speaks to us by a smack upside the head. He's trying to teach us something, and so he'll use a very severe way to get your attention. Maybe your ego's too big and need to be smacked down, you know? Mm-hmm. I've always found that to be true for me. As soon as I think I'm good and got it all together, I get smacked down, you know? When I think my ego takes over. I remember when I was having these miracles in prison, and the rain would stop when I would ask it to. It's crazy, right? Later I'm reading Ellen McCaffrey's book, and it talks about Jupiter in the chart. And it says Jupiter had two names in the old days. One was Tonans, one was Pluvius. Pluvius is Jupiter in Sagittarius. Jupiter in Pisces was called Tonans. And one was the sender of rain, which is Jupiter in Pisces. And Jupiter in Sag is the thunderbolt, the hurler of the thunderbolt. And I read this after I have these experiences of a week and a half of no sleep, but I woke up on a different level. My frontal lobe somehow woke up. It was like I didn't sleep at all. Didn't eat food. Tastes like ashes in my mouth. And I went out one day and just, I don't know what possessed me, and I said, Lord, it's a witness to me. This is in January in Jackson, Michigan, the state prison. They don't let you out of your cell if it's foggy, because you got walls people would try to get over if they thought they couldn't be seen by the guard towers. So I'm out walking, and I'm just, I said, Lord, as a witness to me, cause this rain to cease. It's a crazy thing to say. Why did I say it? I don't know, but it stopped instantly, just like that. It was the most amazing experience, and it turned to instant fog. Instant. I heard a high-pitched sound in my ear when it happened. A very high-pitched sound. And, but you know, I'm very rational. I thought it was coincidence. So the next day I go out again, and it's pouring rain in January. It should be snowing. And it's pouring rain, and I walk outside, and I just say, Lord, as additional witness to me, cause this rain to cease. Bam! Just like that, it turned to pure fog. It was like unbelievable. I ran back in, told Larry, my best friend, I said, Larry, look at this. Because I told him about the day before, and I said, it's probably coincidence. I went back in, and I said, look at my jacket. It was raining, it was pouring, look outside now. I said, it's amazing, it stopped. So I was really getting into it. There's something going on here. Now I'm going to test it again. So next time I say it this way. The next day I go out, it's still raining. It's not like it's on cue for me. It'd go in the morning, I'd go out. I said, Lord, as additional witness to me, cause this rain to cease for 24 hours. I actually put a time on it. Bam! It stops. Honestly, as I stand before you, this happens. And then, now I'm really amazed. Now I'm watching, I'm up all night. Remember, I'm not sleeping. Some part of me woke up that wasn't always awake. And I can see outside from my cell, because there's a bar, there's a walk space for the guards, and then there's windows. It doesn't rain all night. It doesn't rain till the next day. 24 hours to the minute it starts raining. The next day. I'm amazed. Now I go to Percy. I'm telling Percy about this, about how I stopped the rain. Mm-hmm. And Percy got on me with lightning flashing in his eyes. He was a powerful big man. he started to, yeah, Watson, he says, you make Moses' mistake. You stopped the rain. Moses said he smote the rock and he brought forth water. He never saw the promised land because of that, because his ego was so big. You think you did that, Ron? He was hard on me like hard. And I realized it, my ego. Well, what had happened was before that happened, we were in the theater watching movies. We have a movie theater in prison.
12th house. Saturn, 12th house.
12th house. She wants me to move on. I'm going to finish this story. So you've heard it. But here, what happened was there was a movie theater in there, and everybody's coming out, and it's pouring rain. And they know now the word's out. I told you everything happens in prison. It happens. Everybody knows about it. It's so quick inside there. 5,000 men. Word goes around like this. Where's Watson? And I come out, and I walk. They put me in, pushed me out in the front door. It's raining like hell. So Ron, take care of this. I did. I did. See my ego, right? Lord, as a witness to me, cause this rain to cease. Bam! Stop. I swear before you, as I stand here, all these things happen. And now I'm a hero, I mean, like everybody, hey, Ron, it was a big deal, That's when I went to Percy with this big ego, I stopped the rain, right? Oh, he brought me down to my knees fast with rebuke for that statement. So Saturn wants to do that. I did this. It's all me. It's separate from God. That's what Satan is, Saturn. Anyway, Elena said, move on. My gosh, you get all these stories in the bargain here. 12th house Saturn suggests that your career, every response in the world relates to some way to work.
Slow down, please, really, slow down. Really slow.
In some way to work in seclusion or for career or education of others, perhaps in social work, hospitals, prisons, universities, religion, or the arts. Your nature is acquisitive, reserved, and inclined to solitude, with a desire to work unpretentiously, unobserved, and live peacefully or alone. Notice that the 12th house likes to be behind the scenes. Your first house is what? I am. Boy, look at me. I am the, but Pisces wants to be behind the scenes, doesn't want all the credit. It wants to support somebody else. That's the Piscean quality anyway. So, with this placement of Saturn, you may experience negative inner pressures relating to the subconscious insecurity. Remember, subconscious is also 12th house. Past life is 12th house, by the way. Secret sorrows, fears, loneliness, and disappointment. You may, at some stage, suffer false accusations by secret enemies. Mm-hmm. Remember, the 12th house is kind of behind you. You don't see it. It's night. Sometimes I remember we had a class where this doctor friend of ours, and I didn't know him at the time, him and his son came to the class, and for some reason I put his chart up. I can use his name, he wouldn't care. And Elena says I can't use his name.
No.
Okay. Can't talk about him. Anyway, but I said, you've had, he had Mars, Neptune in the 12th. I said, you've had accidents that happen to you at night or from behind. And they're serious bone crushing accidents because he had Saturn involved in it and an affliction with that. And he was freaked out. He said, he told me he's been hit behind so many times and he had so many skeletal frame injuries, bone injuries, that he's one of the top heart surgeons in the world. He's one of the biggest, most successful of all men in that field. And he's worked on Saudi princes and all that. I mean, they call him in when they needed a top surgeon. Anyway, but his profession was actually crippled by that. And it wasn't about 2 years ago, he called me up again and said, Ron, don't tell him. He says, it happened again. He said, and somebody hit me from behind again. I mean, it keeps happening in his life. He had 3 accidents before when I looked at his chart. And then he had another one a couple years ago, and he called me up and said, look at Ron, it's just happened again. So why? That 12th house is always behind you. Think of your charts when you're doing charts. What's going on? I did a chart for a lady yesterday, a dear friend of ours, and she had never seen I'm a photographer. I used to teach us photography, and she's one of the top. And we were talking about past lives, and I said to her, you have Mars in the 12th house, and I see a violent past life, a violent death, and a past life. But that spoke to me. The chart speaks to me. It tells me something. Anyway, enough of all this. Saturn, the golden middays, okay? Who was crucified upside down? Peter. This is the head down here, the legs up here, the arms outspread. That's the symbol of Peter. He was crucified upside down, okay? That's where that came from. That's why, you know what golden middays means? The word mendacious, what does that mean? Highly hurtful. Mendacious. Okay? So that's what that's all about, okay? Okay, this is Casey Anthony's chart. Everybody knows Casey Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
The whole world knows her. Look at her 5th house. Look what's in there.
Where's your pointer, please?
My pointer, thank you, honey.
Thank
My
you.
wife keep me in line here. Look at this 5th house. And you notice all the stuff about drowning, possibly? Remember that? Neptune, Mars, violence. And look at where that moon is. That moon is sitting at 11 Cancer, the mother, sign of mother. And let me see some things in here I saw before. It's exactly squaring Venus here. See that? Okay.
What does that mean to you?
It means that she, as a mother, she had a great conflict with her love life and relationships, and all those things were, the child was interfering with those things, was keeping her back from having that social loving life that she wanted to have as a single woman. And Venus is in Aries, which is very passionate. You get cold and you turn the air conditioner off.
Oh, I'm good. I got my little.
Okay.
No, don't worry. I'm fine.
So also Pluto in the 4th house cusp. By the way, I use about 8 degrees towards the cusp. If planets on this side of a cusp, I always give, if it's 8 degrees within orbit of the next cusp, I tend to read it into the next house. I don't know why it works, but it does. You'd think it'd only be 3rd house meaning, but the 4th house is the home, death in the home, 4th house, and it's in the death sign, Scorpio. Okay, Pluto there. So there's so much in this chart. I mean,
Yeah, she has her sun and Mercury in the 8th house, but they're squaring the Uranus, Mars in the 5th.
exactly, good for you. Exactly. Everybody see that? These are all square. And Pisces prison potential through death. Look at the 8th house of death. And she did spend some time, but not much time in prison. She's really, talk about lucky. I mean, that woman should have been in prison for what she did. So, but that's judgments, not for me to make. Okay. So there's so much here. We could examine this chart for a long while, but how would you get that accurate of a 5th house in a chart with somebody that experienced that kind of thing in her life and cause that kind of
Oh, and she's going to profit from death, so she's going to have a TV show, and up there it says, "Will profit from death financially."
Oh my
And she's going to have like a TV show or something coming up.
isn't that amazing?
I mean, she's
Yeah.
got Jupiter trining Pluto, trining her moon.
She's gonna talk-
Which is what?
I mean, that.
It's a
that
grand trine.
describes-
It's a
yeah,
grand
and
trine.
it describes what she's
Yeah,
describing
and also
there.
isn't Jupiter good fortune and
Yeah, exactly.
get you out of trouble?
So it's
so to speak?
benevolence with the
Yeah.
Plutonian tower.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Air
actually
conditioner's
a
too much,
grand
huh?
trine. So she's gonna shine
Yeah.
because of death.
Yeah.
Pluto 4th cusp in Scorpio, death in the home, grand trine to Jupiter and Moon for fortune in escaping death. And notice where the 8th house could have been death. I mean, that's of her life. There were sons in that, but it was fortune with Jupiter there. Jupiter's preserver. She had great jurisprudence. Is that the word I'm looking for? Okay.
Now, Ron, with that Uranus conjunct Mars in her natal chart, that horrific accident, it could have been her too, right? It just happened to be transpired into the child because of the 5th house, but really, technically speaking, at one point in her life, it could have been her
It could
also,
have
right?
been.
Did he have an accident?
It could. And look where Saturn's at. 9 Sag. It's quincunx exactly the moon. 150 degrees. You see that? Quincunx, most of you can't, and when you read my Cosmic Key, you'll notice how many quincunx there were involved in death. Quincunx. And if the lights are afflicted, okay, that's the most dangerous. When you see sun, moon both getting afflictions, because remember the lights, the expression "I'm gonna put your lights out," that's Saturn. I mean that's sun and moon in your chart. Okay. So Uranus and Mars in the 5th, Saturn's quincunx the moon and trine Venus. It's squaring Jupiter. Neptune's in a T-square, Venus and Moon. Neptune is in, well, notice another thing. Neptune's sleep in the 5th rules the first child. Chloroform was used in her death, they think. 3 malefics in her 5th house. Moon square Venus. Moon square Venus. And opposed to Neptune. We're back to Neptune, Pisces. All these influences that are so much drugs. Will be, and she used to give her sleeping pills, we understood, to make her go to sleep and be quiet so she could go out and party. Her Venus, and exercise that Venus. Okay. Barbara, you need to leave.
I
know.
need to leave. I love you.
Love you, girl.
Bye, everyone. Nice meeting who I met, and you know, my girls, you already know I love you. And Elena, thank you. You look beautiful as always.